Hey guys, what's up? This is X, and today I'm going to be talking about the current state of the game Agony. Agony, as you know, I have covered previously. One was an impressions video, and the other one was, talking about updates. Um, but the latest update, and this is supposed to be the big one, is supposed to, was the one that had like a lot of the improvements that the uncensored one had that on PC. Of course, we weren't going to obviously get the uncensored one, but uh, Madmind did say, yeah, we're going to give you the mechanics and all the stuff that was from the uncensored. That way you can see how great it is now. And so a few days ago it came out, and I admit I was pretty hype about it, and I said, well, I'm just going to go ahead and start the game from the beginning. And when I jumped into it right away, I noticed that oh, this looks way, 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 way better. The textures were really nice looking. The lighting was really good. The ambient sounds of where you hear people screaming or moaning in the distance was really cool. It just gave you that impression of just actually being in hell. The character models were much improved for the most part. Um, they even added a map, which wasn't there in the previous incarnations of the game, and that helped tremendously. Um, and they also had a much improved skill tree. And this was way, way, way better than what they had in the past. In fact, that skill tree alone, I probably would give it a 10 out of 10 for that skill tree. Uh, but uh, but much easier to understand and manage. A very, very good improvement. And for a while, as I was kind of you know walking through this hellish landscape, I was just really having fun with it to the point where I was like, you know what? It went from like when it first debuted, it was kind of like It was kind of like it was okay, but it's not great, but it's not the most terrible thing in the world. But it's just eh. But it went from that to what I felt like was easily a 7 out of 10 at that time. Because I was having a blast with it. I was just kind of losing myself in that world, and it was great. But the further I went along, there was just various things that kind of stuck out to me that made me think, well, maybe they should have waited a little bit while and add some more stuff to this update. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate the update, but there's just various things here and there I think that really also needs improvement as well. Um, at the very beginning, you get a tutorial that shows you various things, and that's fine. It covers quite a bit of things, but I kind of really wished it would have had it uh, talked about some of the icons that were on the screen. I mean, yeah, you're going to figure them out eventually, but it's always nice to have it from the get go saying, okay, this is what this is and this is what that is. Especially for somebody who's going into a game that doesn't, never tried this type of game before. I just kind of feel like it should cover all the bases, but who knows? They might do it further down the line. Um, Now, like I said, character models for the most part are fine, with the exception of uh, one of the big demons that run around. Um, the character model for the head, just to me, is just bad. It's really bad. I don't know why they left it this way. I'm hoping they'll improve it eventually, but it just did not look good at all. I kind of really actually wish I had footage of it so you could see for yourself, but it really wasn't. It really wasn't that good at all. But another thing that bothered me was really the facial animations, like on some of the um, people you run into down there. Hell, even the Red Goddess herself. It seemed like the mouths were just moving way way slower than the actual voices that you hear, you know, talking. and it just kind of took me out of the moment. Um, and for some, I guess this is not a deal breaker, but to me, it just kind of pulled me out of that immersion. You know, when you hear us like normal talking and the mouths are going so slow, it just again, I'm hoping that maybe further down the line they'll have their improvement on that. Sound wise, for the most part, it's fine. Like I already explained, like the ambient sounds was really great. Um, and my only problem is like when you were talking to a character, and this didn't happen all the time. This only happened from time to time. That if I'm looking directly at a character, you would hear the sound coming from the left, and sometimes you would hear it coming from the right, which didn't make any sense. I meant the character's not on my right, so why am I hearing it coming from the right? Uh, I'd say it's probably just a minor gripe because I could get past that, but still I'm hoping that they'll fix that. But the biggest problem I ever had that I had while playing the game was, to me, Agony works well movement wise when you're in like going through caves and when you're going through like old abandoned temples. When but it starts to degrade once you go into the larger open areas. Now there was one larger open area where I had to swim to get to. I think it was like the Ono Skeksis. I think that's how you pronounce it. Lair. That wasn't bad. But there was one where I had to go through a forest that was not that great. I felt like my character just kept catching on stuff, which I know is maybe some people are like, well, it's just realistic that way. I was like, it seems like it's catching a little bit too much. But it only got really really super worse when there was a part of the game where you talk to the red goddess and she's like, I want you to go to this tree down here. And you're like, okay, so you go down the landscape, which the landscape looks pretty cool. You know, you has like uh, various parts of land that are separated by little by like some kind of water-like substance, which will hurt you if you fall into it. And there's some land masses that will float, on that water that you can just jump from land to land. And that was fine, even dodging the demons and stuff. That was fine. But it was frustrating from time to time where it felt like even though my stamina was fine, there was instances where I would try to jump and it felt like something was weighing me down, like I could not jump properly. And I checked other YouTubers' channels, where they featured this game as well, and they were running into the same problem. And another problem that I had issues with was the fact that there were visible walls that seemed like that shouldn't have been there. And I can understand if it's like mountains or anything like that, but there was just certain instances where it should not have been on certain rocks that I should have been able to travel to a lot more easier and smoother, and it just wasn't, and it just took me out of the moment. Even the movement of the when you possess a Ono Skeksis itself was not that great. It seemed like it was kind of janky, except when you were running. But when you were walking, it just felt really janky and weird. So I'm hoping at some point that they'll fix that. Now, given that, do I recommend that people get the game now? Uh, for me personally, no. But I don't know. I guess it would be worth it just to see the new improvements on there. Uh, but like I but like I said, expect there to be some issues with the game still. So who knows? They might fix it down the line. Fingers crossed here. And until it gets to the point where it's going to be fully become the game that it was meant to be. So hopefully uh, they'll just keep working on it. But if you catch the game on sale like really cheap, I'd say go ahead and get it just to try out. But don't expect like a massive amount of I mean there's a lot of improvements, but don't expect it to be 100% improvements. But that's all I wanted to talk to you guys for today. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I hope to talk to you guys real soon. Take care.